TikTok is live. Let me see if the app works. We'll see about that. Let's move this upstairs.
Why, it been freezing, Spot?
What, the app?
Yeah.
Big boy, what's good? Shadow, peace. They updated the app, so it
Big
messed
Boy's
up.
your brother, right?
Yeah. Big boy's my brother. Shout out to V. I see you. MJMG, Miss J. Let us know if the app is on it. For me, on my end, it's saying it's running, but I don't see it. So let me know. But shout out to everybody jumping on Instagram. Shout out to everybody on TikTok. We are back. He said, what it do? We are back. I'm Sport Brooklyn.
I'm Nate.
This is Dungeon Talk. You know what we do. We give you living room conversation, and we invite you in. We was missing last week. It was Easter.
It was Easter, man.
I was on one side of town. We was doing what we was doing. So it was hard. It was not even hard. We took the day off.
Yeah, we had to.
We took the day off.
It's a family day.
Yeah, we took the day off. But we back today. How you feeling today, my
I'm
brother?
good, man. I'm good, man.
You good?
Yeah, I'm good, man.
That's what's up.
How was your Easter anyway?
My Easter was good. I took the kids. They sing in a choir.
Yes.
So they did the choir thing. I was home, and then when they came home, I took the fam out to eat.
Oh, you ain't go to church?
Nah, I didn't go to church.
They don't want you in there anyway, bro. I was waiting for you to say that.
They don't want you in there.
I was waiting for you to say that. I was like, yo, what? I'm going to get him back now.
Yo.
They don't want him in the church. That's the best thing they did.
That was a good one.
I was waiting for you to say that.
Yo.
I was waiting for you to say that, bro. I was waiting for you to say it. You was like, I ain't go. I was like, well, that was a good thing.
Yeah.
That's great.
He said, damn it, man. Yeah, I ain't go. They ain't want me in there. Word. And then I took him out. Man.
That's what's up, man. My kids.
You went to church?
Come on, man.
You ain't.
I know you ain't gonna ask me that question.
Blasphemy?
No, don't ask me that question.
Bang bang, your itch was good.
Itch, what up, Itch? You know, I don't go to them. I don't go to church, boy. I do go to church, but I don't go like, on just specific holidays, bro.
Not to drag it long or into it, but why you don't go to church?
Truthfully, Spot, I don't understand anything. I don't understand. And like I say, I could pray anywhere. I pray in the house, I could pray anywhere. And I would go to church to pray, so I don't understand anything that's in the church, whatever they talking about, bro. They could break it down in the Bible, all that. I never even opened the Bible in my life.
It'll be interesting. If not, we don't want to. We don't.
No, don't say we will do anything. I'm not doing anything with you that involves church. So you can forget about it.
Even Muse.
Oh, you can forget about it, bro. Don't even. But we're not going nowhere that involves church. Okay.
No. Okay, we're not going anywhere that involves church. But you can check out the book. Like, just check. It'll be very interesting to read, bro. That's what really opened up my mind, because I hear people recite a lot of stuff from the book.
So who made the books, Bud?
Well, they got the King James version.
And who is that? LeBron?
It ain't LeBron. It ain't LeBron.
I don't know.
I hope
Let
not.
me start talking about God. Please.
It ain't LeBron.
God, forgive me.
It ain't LeBron. But no, that's King James. King James did the version that is widely respected and utilized, and a lot of people don't know he had. And this number might be wrong, but you could Google it. He had about 140 people rewrite the Bible.
I don't know.
Rewrite it. So my question to a lot of people is like, you follow the King James version, which was rewritten. Was what gave King James the authority to rewrite the book? You know what I'm saying? Like, people don't question that. But I do that, and then it's like blasphemy. You going to hell.
See, that's why I tell you.
They don't want to have the conversation, and I'm not doing it in malice. I'm doing it in conversation. Like, do you know what you're reciting to me?
A lot of people get into a big big argument over that. So I try not to speak about religion or like religion or politics, because it goes into a different way. You know, some people have their own beliefs, and their beliefs ain't my beliefs. So I try not to get into whatever they believe in. You know, I listen. Even the names that people throw at me.
Shout out to Groves, Patricia Groves. She said, "Rewrite to meet the political goals of the time." That's true. What is the rule of thumb? Who wins the wars, writes the stories. You know, tells the story. You know what I'm saying? And it's true. It's true. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. I have no idea. What are y'all talking about?
Now, I had a conversation. We don't gotta go. We don't gotta go too deep, right? But I had a conversation. This was recently about King James, with someone that really is religious, and I said to them, did you know King James profited from the slave trade?
See,
He profited from the slave trade. You know what I'm saying? Like, so how can me as a and this is what I was telling the individual. Once I learned this, right? Because a lot of things we don't know, and then a lot of stuff just gets passed down. But once me as a black man knows this, it taints how you interpret or how you engage with something when you know that. And don't get it wrong. Half the things I find out, half the things that I engaged in slave trade. So it's tough. But I asked him that. I was like, yo, and I don't want to just pick any nationality or religious group, but other religious groups or other races would never hold fast to something that was countereffective to themselves. They wouldn't, but we do that because we traumatized. We went through trauma. Trauma's our culture now.
Even the Catholics. You see the Catholics. The Pope died.
Yeah.
And they like, yo, we picking another Pope.
Yeah, of course.
But
you gotta have a Pope. You gotta have a religious figure.
I respect it. There's a bunch of them. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, why do they tell people that you gotta pay to see it? Huh?
Hey.
Yeah, hey.
Hey.
And the Bible would say that? Yeah, you see, I can ask you certain things. In the Bible, a lot of people read the Bible, but they also do a lot of things they're not supposed to.
Yes, this is true.
This is why I say that to go to church, I don't really understand what's going on, because a lot of people do the same thing constantly. You see, what they reading.
You know what church for me is, like I've gone to church. I didn't go to church. I don't go to church religiously. I go to church just as much as I'll go to Juma on Friday, or I'll go to the synagogue. I don't have no problem going to these places, but I think a lot of times we as people, we take a lot of the information relayed to us, a lot of the the depictions and the interpretations of people as fact. So a man could get in front of the congregation, or he get in front of the church, and he'll give you his perspective of what he read. And then we walk out of the church and take that perspective and faithfully, and then I'm not saying nothing's wrong with it. It could be or not, but faithfully hold that, and then we go and then we recite and we teach the perspective of another man's perspective of the word, which was rewritten by another man, by how many men.
But see,
you know what I'm saying, and then that's why I say when you read the book, and it's crazy because when you read the book, like a lot of people only read, King James version. You know what I'm saying? Like I've dabbled with the Quran, the Torah. You know what I'm saying? Like try to see my perspective of all different things, because how can I have a point if I only know one side?
Even the Quran.
Yeah.
People that read the Quran has different beliefs than people that read the Bible.
And they also have parallel beliefs.
But
that's the same exact thing,
but written a different way.
It's just explained differently because of the texture or where the geographic location or you know what I'm saying? It's basically parallel. The difference between the Quran and the Bible is how they depict Jesus. That Jesus is a prophet in the Quran. He's not like he's not one of the highest.
Jesus,
Yeah, he's in the Quran.
but
He's a prophet.
that's God, right?
To some. Too many. They say that's
So the
Jesus.
Jesus is
how they pray to
Jesus Cristo. That's what the Spanish
they
people
pray
say.
to Jesus.
To Jesus.
They pray to Jesus, which, like me, I have a perspective of that, which a lot of people don't feel or don't like my perspective on that. But I got a perspective on that,
But
and my perspective is from the Bible.
so like when they say, I don't even know how to say it no more. I even forgot how to say it. And the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Yeah, Amen. That's
Yes.
what I said. Yeah.
So, it's like I grew up Catholic. So
The Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
yeah, but who is?
So you see that, and they say that's the Trinity. That's the Holy Trinity. You know, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. And a lot of people try to depict it a lot of different ways. You know what I'm saying? And my not my argument, my question, because I'm the type of person, like, when Jehovah's Witness and anybody ring my door, I got time. Like, I will go on the steps. I'll go on the steps, and he said, I thought y'all wasn't going to talk about it. I will go on the steps and holler with them to the point where Jehovah's Witness don't ring my bell no more. They don't ring my bell no more. Like,
I wouldn't ring your bell neither.
They don't ring my bell no more. And
to talk about that, I'm not ringing your bell.
Church supposed to be a storehouse, a pantry of the people. I feel that. It's supposed to be a lot. And church is power. I'm not gonna sit here and say, like, church is not powerful. I'm not gonna sit here and say religion is not powerful. All of those things are powerful, I think, but within that power comes great responsibility. And a lot of people are not responsible with that power. And they use the efforts of that power to guide people the way they feel suitable. I mean, the word religion itself, like we spoke about, it means restraints. That's what religion means. It's Latin for restraints.
I told you, I grew up Catholic, and I would go in the Catholic church and didn't understand a word they was. I didn't understand. I said, to this day I don't. To this day I don't. I believe in God, but
yeah,
everybody that I come across, they got different beliefs, and a lot of people just say, oh, God is this, God is that. Listen, you don't know. Nobody knows. This is what you read. I could read you anything. You don't know him. And if you knew him, you wouldn't be here with me, telling me what you believe in. My uncle is a 5%er. He go off on another route. His whole route is
I studied that as well.
He'll make you believe that the sun is green by the time he finish with you. I'm telling you. And
peace to the Lords. I studied 5%.
You see how you say peace. And he start hitting me with a whole bunch of things.
Yeah, he gonna hit you with mathematics.
Yeah, he hit me with a whole bunch of stuff that even when he say
like today's mathematics is wisdom. All being born, wisdom, equality, all being born, build and destroy. And for me, I don't like. Sometimes people think I targeted the Bible, and no, I wanted to learn what I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, I didn't know. I remember, speaking of the 5%ers, I remember being a kid, bro, 15-year-old, and I'm watching a 13-year-old kid in a cipher. This was so magical for me to see. I watched a bunch of kids younger than me, some were older, stand in a circle, bro, with the stance of pride, bro. And they were talking about sun, moon, and stars, and what knowledge and wisdom was, and why that forms the understanding.
The wisdom is the wisdom is your wife, right?
Wisdom is your wife. Wisdom is your wife.
See, so he would break it down in certain things that, like I say something and he'll just throw it back at me in a way, and I'll just be like, wow. I just couldn't get it. And then the Catholic Church, man, I was young and I would go to sleep, bro. I would go to sleep because my grandmother would force us to go. And I didn't know. I did my communion, my confirmation, and
a lot of people growing up, we grow up thinking, and there's probably some people going to disagree with me, but we grow up thinking we fall under this religion. Like we're conditioned to follow specific religions. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, you grew up in a Catholic household, and it gets passed down, and then it gets passed down without the questioning. And what I like, was shout out to Eva Muse, she said, "Yo, you can challenge it. Knowledge is power," and that's the part that people who are really religious stay away from. I'm not challenging if there's a higher power. I ain't made ladybugs and lions, dandelions, and the wind and water. Something greater than me did all that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
God.
something greater and magical. But the power of free will, I don't think people understand that there's one part of the Bible that's very powerful, and it speaks about He gave man free will. And the reason why that's so powerful, because in that free will, if you can do just, if you could do right within the free will, without the bondages and the restraints of having to, then that's your relationship and your closeness to the highest power. You know what I'm saying? And that free will is something that I always have a conversation with when it comes to people who are religious, because you know they like to recite the Bible, which I don't think they understand some of the things they recite.
The lady, whoever that
Ms.
is,
Grove said
the beauty of faith is that you don't need to see to believe. I believe that. You just have to have faith. I have faith. I have faith.
What is faith?
I have no idea.
I love that. I love that.
I'm gonna tell you the truth.
I love that.
That's a dream. That. Faith is a dream. I think to me, or like I hope it comes true.
I love
faith,
that, bro.
Believing in it. You gotta have faith. That's all I know. But I don't know. But I do believe in that. Like, you know, you gotta believe. Just believe. You gotta believe. You gotta have faith. And that's what I was always taught.
Faith is the one of the most magical things in the world, because faith I have you understanding, believing, having hope in something that you can't even fathom. That's how powerful faith is. But I have a problem with solely people just relying on blind faith and not internal faith of growth. You know what I'm saying? And that was my thing growing up. Because there was a time where I was anti everything. I didn't believe in no higher power. I was anti because I saw too much at a certain age where I was like, yo, this is crazy. This is crazy. And one of the hardest things for me with faith is when I read the Bible, bro. When I read the Bible, the first time I read the Bible, I read it with eyes that was looking for the flaw to attack. I ain't even gonna lie. I read it with like, I need to find my arsenal, so when I go back to church, I sit down with the preacher and me and him gonna have a conversation. So I went in it with a little bit of malice. Not even malice, I want to take that. I had an agenda. And there was one. He said I wanted 33 and a third. I can make y'all see. Yeah, shout out to Ish. It's just not. You know what I'm saying? But that was what I went into. But the more at that stage when I read it, some of the stuff I came across, I was blown away to what I was reading, that it was pushing me away from faith. Because I was reading it with certain eyes. But when I read the book, I was like, ain't no way. I know a lot of people who love the Bible, who love me, ain't read this. When I read it, I was like, ain't read this.
Tell you, Spud, these conversations get you into a big problem.
They do. I got kicked out of a lot of churches.
I was at school the other day. They started talking about this. I was like, listen, I'm not even getting involved in this. This is not cool, bro. This in politics? Oh no, I'm not getting involved in that.
If one is really, this is my belief. I'm not forcing this on anyone. If one is truly comfortable in their faith, the conversation means nothing.
At all.
It means nothing. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather someone tell me, I don't, like how you said, I said, what's faith? You said, I don't know. I love that.
I don't know.
I love that. I love that. You know what I'm saying? I really love that because it's genuinely approach to what you believe. I cannot argue. From that point, I cannot argue with you. I can't debate with you. There's nothing I can say. But when you start just reading off
Scriptures.
and you start reading off scriptures, now you open the door for a conversation because I read them too.
That's how I know when people read the Bible. They start telling me the names and the points. Like point
John 3:16.
John 3:16 or that's how I know that they really
he gave
wrote
his
it.
only
They
begotten
read it.
Son. Who should believe in him shall not perish, shall live an everlasting life.
You know, people say that to me, and I'll be like, or they'll send me a scripture and like whatever,
Yeah.
and I'll be like, yo, why did you send me that? They're like, yo, open the book and go to this one.
Jackson says, Spud been preaching at me for years.
Yeah, and it's dangerous. You see what I said? They ain't put him in the church book. They ain't even let him go to church this week.
But you see, I'm very inquisitive because I'm not asking to like deframe or show ill will. I'm asking for the growth of understanding.
But that's what I'm saying, Spud. I understand. Like, I would take pieces from you and everybody who does speak. My mom's in them is Baptist. So it's like, you know, I went to a Baptist church. I really enjoyed it. Cause they live, you know, they into it.
Yeah.
They little party. They did. To me, it was like a little party. It was like good.
It was a celebration.
A real celebration. Even like, not to bring it up, like with deaths, they rejoice. They bring back all the good times. And the Catholic Church is like, man, everybody dead. It's no good. It's like down, so down.
It is, and then whatever floats your boat, whatever makes you feel good and resonates with you, like go in that direction. But just as much, Malcolm X said this quote. I love this quote from Malcolm X. He said, "When I was blind, I searched for the light, and when I found this light I searched for, I got blinded." Yo, son, when I saw that, when I read that, I was like, wow, how deep that was. And I think with faith, that happens a lot. People searching for this light, right? This insight. And then they get the insight, and then they blinded by the very thing that they were searching, and they don't grow with it. They don't grow within themselves. It's outside. It's an outside presence. It's an outside belief. It's an outside conversation. It's no inner growth.
Do you believe that you go into the pearly gates?
I don't know.
But that's what I understand. That's what I don't understand. See how you just told me?
I don't know.
If I ask somebody that goes to church, they will hit me with a whole thing.
They're gonna tell you what they believe.
Yeah, but this is why I'm asking. Where are you going? You don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Nobody knows.
I don't know.
Nobody knows.
I don't know. I don't know. I know what some places say.
Nobody knows.
I know what some people believe, but I don't know. I don't know what happens.
Even when people say, "Oh, you going to hell," where's hell? We in hell. We live in hell. I think this is hell. I
get you. I mean, according to the Bible, you know, the son of the morning. You know who's the son of the morning?
Who?
Lucifer. He is the son.
And who is that?
Huh?
The son of the morning.
Yeah. He's the son of the morning. So he governs this I guess you could say physical world. That's how it's kind of worded. And I'm not rewriting nothing. But like you saying this is hell, you know, in the physical world, a lot is said to be in Lucifer's playground.
Jackson said, "This is hell. I'm staying."
Miss J.
Look, you see that and
Yo, she said chapter 4-15 says they business be effing up. They business.
Listen, I'm telling you, it's real, man. I don't got nothing against it. That's one thing in the world that I would never debate with anybody about.
No, don't
Just
ever
go.
debate.
I'm not debating or
Never
just.
debate.
I don't even have an opinion.
You know what I do?
So when people say,
I
"Yo,
ask
you,"
questions. I don't
no,
debate.
I'm not even gonna, because there's things that I don't really, like the back of the Bible says that we're ending times. There's the ending of the time, whatever it is. Listen, I don't want to know that. I don't want to know that. I don't want to know anything that's written in that Bible that's gonna tell me that my days is almost over.
And right. Speaking of like, and this is for anybody who's religious. Check this out. There's a person in the Bible named Melchizedek, right? Melchizedek. Look this man up. Look this man up. That's all I'm gonna say. Look this man up, because when I read about him in the Bible, it left me with more questions. Because he's the only one. He's the only one in the Bible with no father and no mother. No father and no mother. So I asked in church, who is this? Because he has no father, he has no mother. Yet, in the Bible, he is honored as close to God as possible. I'm not making it up. You can look it up yourself. I asked that question, so how come we never talk about him?
I don't even know who you're talking about.
No, but see, it's stuff like that. When I read these things, I'm like, my mind is like, I'm really curious to know that guy now. I'm really curious to know that guy, you know? Miss J said fundamental Catholicism is a way of people to connect with God as the Father and who loves us, not someone to fear. The higher power that connects us and the patterns we follow to get to where we need to be. And I love what you just said, Pat. But when I walked into a Catholic church, that's not what I get. Actually, I got kicked out of a Catholic church in my neighborhood. In my neighborhood, I got sent away. Actually, they shunned me before they even knew who I was. First of all, I'm gonna be honest. I think because I was black.
Nah.
No. I'm serious.
Nah.
I'm gonna tell you the whole story.
But wait.
No, me and my wife and my two daughters walk into the church. She walk in first. She's greeted. We walk in. I kid you not. They spin on me. I walk down the aisle. I sit down with the kids. She sit down. She networking. She look like she running for presidency, right? She networking. She probably on right now. And the energy we was getting, bro. The energy we was getting, son. It was like I had the because of Cain and Abel's story. I'm a Canaanite. You know what I'm saying? Because they say that's how black people. I read that too, but yo, they treated me so bad, bro.
I don't think because you was black.
So bad.
I hope not. I hope not. I hope not.
What else could there have been? Men walked in and got greeted.
But you was the only black guy.
I was the only black guy who walked in with two, and you did it to the girls. You did it to the girls, and me still being me. I tell the girls, listen. I huddle into them. I say, yo, in this setting, you're gonna face a lot of stuff. Don't use or don't let the physical beings of people change what you feel in your heart. Because I teach my kids 5%er. I teach them Islam. I teach them Catholic. But anything that has to do with religion, I give them all the insights. So what feels comfortable to them, they can find their way. At least they have an idea of everything. So I'm never like, yo, I ain't going to no Catholic church. I ain't Catholic. I don't do none of that. I just share. And I have them question. You know what I'm saying? I have them question. But I got kicked out, bro. Not kicked out. I got shunned.
I don't know what you.
I got shunned. And it was right here.
I keep telling you.
It was right here.
I don't know how.
On Knickerbocker.
Yo, look, he telling us.
I think it's Saint Elizabeth on Knickerbocker.
Look.
And Hancock.
I ain't never got kicked out of church in my life. I don't know what this guy.
I ain't even say a word. I just walked in. I ain't walked in, and my wife getting hugs and kisses.
And you get nothing.
Me and my daughters don't even get a nod, bro. They looked and they turned their head.
That church. And wait.
It gets worse.
Wait. The Bible says that God, church is a sanctuary, right? It's supposed to be a place of you accept everybody, no matter race, religion, or color, right?
Yeah.
So what are they reading?
Their own perspective.
But how can you do your own perspective if you're not God?
Because they've been doing it. So as the day goes, I go next to my wife, and we speak to the guy, the man, and I say,
the priest.
Oh, we're married. My man said, that's not honored.
You're not what?
That's not honored.
Because you're not Catholic?
You're not, that marriage means nothing.
Because you're not Catholic.
That's what the man said.
Because you're not Catholic.
This ain't honored.
You ain't Catholic. You're not Catholic.
This ain't honored. How could you, a man of faith, regardless of what anyone believes in, tell people who coming into the church, suppose I wanted to be Catholic. Suppose I was curious of that. Man said this ain't honored. I could have stole on him.
With aggression?
With the most disgust, this ain't honored. This means nothing.
The father?
I kid you no lie, bro. If my wife is on right now, she could testify.
Now. And
I testify against the higher power right now.
Now, you see what I mean? Somebody that reads the Bible and reads the Word of God every day, why would he do that?
That's what he said to me. Right here, I'm blowing it up. Right here on Knickerbocker and Halsey. Right there. Nice looking building. I ain't never walking in there. Nah, I won't say I never walk in there. I'm walking in there with my own intent. But I ain't going for service. I'm cool. But that's how I got treated, bro.
Listen, man.
That's how I got treated, bro.
I don't got nothing against church, believe me. But I'm not. That's like everybody calls the Pope God. The Pope is not God. That man is not God. So why am I paying to see him? Why do we have to pay to see him?
First of all, blow your head real quick. God is a Greek word defined by Gumar Az-Dabar. Yet, if God existed before the Greeks, how is his name that we honor him with comes centuries, years after to acknowledge him?
I don't know, Spud.
You see what I'm saying? It's a Greek word. It's a Greek word, right? It's a Greek word. So we use a Greek word to acknowledge. So if Greeks are here, the existence of Greeks are here, and God is all day, yet we stuck here. It goes back to who runs and who writes the literature of what we believe. So the higher power, now we acknowledge it as God, but we don't even know why we fueled by that word. It's a Greek word, bro. God existed before Greeks. And what he said my name was, I am. Who are you? I am. Who are you? I am. He never acknowledged himself as God. That was a man's perspective of honoring. I'm not gonna deface in honoring their perspective of what the higher power means to man. So a lot of people say we follow the book, and we follow a lot of man's law, bro. A lot of man's religion, a lot of man's perspective. We do a lot of that, not even realizing that's what we do. We follow man's perspective, and we hold it as God's. Look, I mean, I still saying God because that's what we're the high. And I'm so used to saying the higher power. You know what I'm saying? But that's man's perspective. That's. Like I said, St. Elizabeth was so different when I was younger. I taught at St. Elizabeth School when I first started. I remember Miss J. I remember and how I remember the story of the way Miss Groves. Shout out to Miss Groves. Those that don't know Patricia Groves, if y'all ever hear my story, I say it 100 times. That's my 4th grade teacher, who was in my life all my life, who is now the grandmother to my kids. Like when I go out to LA, that's who I go check. I love this lady. This is the lady who I paroled to when I was gonna go to a shelter, and she's like, "What? I'm here." Like, this is the lady my mom's told her in my living room, "If I'm not here, that's your son." And even though my mom's meant, yeah, when you take him to the aquarium, you take care of him, Miss Groves took that to the heart. to this day and always introduced me as her son. So shout out to Miss Goals. I love you. We know you and Saying Liberty Biv was a completely different time. Most definitely, Miss J. But that wasn't something I experienced, and my kids saw it. You know what it is to have your young kids say, "Yo, why they treat us like that?" I can't decorate that. I can't decorate that. I said possibility because we don't look like what he would want us to look like. There's no other reason. He ain't speak to us. He don't know what religion I was.
He's not no faith of God. He don't have faith in God.
But now
you can't look at somebody like that and
now take that same man. Take that same man who does not have no faith in God, and every Sunday,
telling people
probably
that.
Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, he's guiding tons of people every day, every week. He's guiding tons of people with the word of God, bro. That man who basically shunned me and my kids, that's the man teaching the word of God, bro.
Look, I don't know who that person is. Courtney Caterer, whatever that is. Look what they said. Right there, it said, "Look at the poor people who put their lasting collections on hopes for blessings."
Oh yeah. Courtney Carter. Shout out to Kim for Courtney.
So, if you put your last in the plate, who blesses you? That's a good question.
So
that is great.
I'm gonna be honest with y'all.
And where did 10% go?
I'm gonna be honest with everybody. I'll be honest with you, and the higher power is my witness. The offering is for the church, bro. And sometimes they don't use it just for the church. They got Bentleys and nice shoes and all that. It's supposed to help keep the lights on because it's a non-profit. There's no other way to make income for a building. The concept of the offering is to help to keep the establishment. That's what it's made for. It's help to pay the bills, the lights, get us what we need, keep this running so us as a people can work. Unfortunate, and don't get me wrong, if no one, especially if that's the church you love, if no one gives offering, your church will be closed. If they don't get money, they don't close. So they gotta do fundraisers. They could do tons of different things to make money, but the offering is a quick, easy way. What bothers me is, and I've sat in churches where they do a whole 15-minute skit on why God
told you to give him the bread.
He tells you, open your wallet.
To give me the bread.
Open your wallet and take out the biggest bill. My brother, Itch, who's on right now, and I don't mean to put you on blast or what the pastor or the reverend did. The reverend went in his wallet, pulled out $100. Itch is on right now. And smacked it on the table and told everybody, match it.
But how he got $100?
Probably from offering. He probably got it from last week's offering.
Oh my God.
And told people match it, bro. My brother was like, all right. Look, he said yes. Told people match it, bro. He ain't been back there, he left. He told people match it. Now that's when I'd rather someone say, hey, listen, congregation, these lights are powered by us. It's us. Can we please have an acceptance? Donate some of your money so we could keep today running. So we could keep Sunday running. So we could keep these lights on so you have a place to worship. Now we talking. But when they mask it as God said today.
To give up the bread.
That money, yo. Bro, come on, bro.
But it come around like 2 and 3 times.
Yeah.
It comes around 2 and 3 times. They even make you give handshakes to people like you're giving out more of a blessing to send a tray around again.
They ain't start sending out cash apps?
No, they got your name.
I'm not surprised.
They got your name on the envelope. So I always used to think my grandmother was somebody big in the church because her name was on it with a serial number on the envelopes. Mm-hmm. And my grandmother would give out the bread like faithfully every week. And they had bingo Friday nights. They had bingo. They selling you food. So I thought you wasn't supposed to gamble in the name of the Father.
Well, Speak.
But,
Well, there's a story in the
just
Bible.
saying, I'm
there's
just saying,
there's a story
right?
in the Bible. There's a story in the Bible. It's I'm not gonna give it to y'all all. I need y'all to research this to call me a liar and say I'm fronting. So I'm not gonna give you the books and I ain't gonna give y'all all the names. But I'm just gonna give you two in story form, right? There's a story in the Bible. 3 guys, right? They each get like 4 shillings. One dude buries his shillings. I don't want to lose this. I don't want to lose this. The other one was like, I'm gonna take half my shillings and I'm gonna get some stuff that I can eat and I'm gonna save too. The other dude took his 4 shillings and he was like, I'm gonna hustle this. I'm gonna flip this. I'm gonna put this in this to sell this to make more. And you know who got the blessings?
Who?
The hustler. I'm just saying. I ain't make that up. It's in the book. 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 Just saying. I read the book 4 times. And the interesting thing, when I read the book,
Hold on, the dude that was hustling
he got the blessings.
So the dude that hit the he didn't get nothing?
He didn't get nothing. He got nothing. He got nothing. I believe that, and this part is get a little gray. The other dude got half blessings, and son who flipped his money got the blessings. It's in the book, bro. And every time I read the Bible, it's almost like I missed something. Something else gets highlighted. I'll be like, yo, I read this 4 times. Something else pops out, bro. Every time I read it, bro. Every time I read it.
You read from front to back?
Front to back, bro. I mean, when you're in prison, you got a lot of time. You know what I'm saying? I read it 1 time out here. I read it 3 times in prison. I read it 1 time. The first 2 times I read it looking for evidence to fight. I ain't gonna lie. I was looking for stuff to beef. You know what I'm saying? Like the Last Supper. You know what I'm saying?
It was the Last Supper?
Yeah, the Last Supper. And after the supper,
That's where they gave the wine?
That's when the whole situation with Judas and he hustled and he sold Jesus out. And Jesus found out, right? So I always used to say, when someone used to tell me Jesus is God, I used to be like, but in the Last Supper, I got a question. In the Last Supper, he falls to his knees. After the Last Supper, he falls to his knees and Satan says to him, your God's gonna forsake you, man. You know, challenge him. Speak words into the air of negative. Like basically he say, like rebuke him. Because he's gonna let you die. He's gonna rebuke you, right? And you know what God says? He puts his hand to a prayer and he says, thy Lord, please give me the strength. And I asked, if he's God, who is he praying to? He prayed. He also asked why he was on the cross. Why thou forsaken me? He was obviously speaking to a higher power. Now, could Jesus be a symbolism of what a faithful man of the word of God can be? Yes. Yes, he can. Yes, he can. But when people pray to Jesus, that's where I'm not arguing I tell my kids, pray to a higher power. And have that conversation of understanding what the higher power is. But praying to a man who prayed don't seem right to me. He prayed himself for strength. Therefore, there's something else.
Higher than
him. It's in the book. I'm not making it up. It's in the book. So I ask people like, yo, yes, use Jesus as a representation. But don't get lost in man's depiction of what God is. Don't get lost in that. But
like I told you, the Catholics are the biggest real estate in the world. I know people know that, and I wonder
Ames on point was good.
I wonder how much they charge to go see the Pope in the box.
Huh?
I wonder how much
they go see him in the box.
Yeah. How much bread did they make?
He prayed to his Father. The Holy Trinity is 3 parts: Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost. Yes, it's 3 parts: the Father,
the Son, and the Holy Spirit,
and the Holy Ghost, Holy Spirit, right? Holy Spirit, right?
Yes.
A lot of times we skip the Father. Anytime I asked when he prayed in church, they was like, "Oh, that's the Holy Trinity," and I was like, "Okay, if it's the Holy Trinity, why are we taught to pray to Jesus, the higher power?" I'm not saying don't acknowledge him. I'm saying we stop the buck. We stop the buck there. You know what I'm saying? We stop the buck there. And there's a higher power. Now, this is my other question. What is the Holy Trinity? What is the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost? People don't even understand the definition of what that means and entails to a person with free will. It goes back to free will. It always goes back to free will. That's very important in faith. It goes back to free will. The Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. Holy Spirit. It's a map of an example. It's the creator, the example, and then your soul. That's the Trinity. It don't work. It don't work if you don't praise the Father, follow the examples of the Son, and live. I'm getting to y'all. Live the examples and the appreciation and love for the Father. That's the Trinity. You can't praise Him, not follow the examples. You can't have the faith, but believe in Jesus. You can't live the example. You cannot don't live the example at all, but drop to your knees to pray, go to church to pray to God, Jesus. It don't work, bro. That's the Holy Trinity. It's the map example of being under free will. And the importance of free will they said, calm down, Spud. You busting a vein. And
You're about to.
Yo, and cause I'm really packed, cause I really read it, right? And the beautiful thing in the Bible, right? In the Bible, there's a phrase where it says, you know who God's prayers get heard first from?
Oh.
He said a non-believer. If a non-believer dropped to his knees and prayed, he's heard first. It's in a book. You can look it up. I ain't making this up. But you know why? Because only then thy words are truthful. Oh, damn, bro.
Yeah.
If a non-believer could drop to his knees and surrender in I can't do nothing else. And that goes to say a lot of people drop to their knees in action. Go to church in action. But the Holy Spirit ain't here, bro. And you're not honoring the Father. You stuck on the Son.
But that's why they don't get blessed.
You stuck.
That's why you don't get blessed.
Hey.
Yeah, you see.
I ain't make it up.
No, you don't got to make it up. But you could tell in people's actions why they don't get blessed. Because they read things they don't live by. And that's why you say, you know, when you say your name, why you don't go to church? It's not that I don't go to church. I'm just not. Listen, I'm not going to go there because I feel some type of way today. Every day I believe in, I pray to God. It could be anywhere I am. But I'm not going into the church to keep His lights on. He's not keeping my lights on. Not God. I'm talking about the man that's up there preaching.
I know you're talking about.
He's not keeping my lights on.
I get it.
You understand? If I got to give the tray around, can I go in there and ask them for my money back because my lights is turning off?
No.
So why am I helping them?
He's going to pray for you, brother.
We could do that. You could do it to me.
I pray for you, my child. And I'm not trying to make a mockery. I'm not gonna make a mockery of that. I'm just adding some humor.
I know that's good that you just did that because that's the first thing they do. You notice when something happens, people say it's 6 people in a circle and everybody say somebody goes, please bow your heads. We're gonna pray for this child. The child's going through the same thing every day.
Yeah. You
understand? He might have even asked you for help. Did you help him? In the Bible, you're supposed to help people, right? Don't you supposed to, right? I'm coming to the Father, the guy that's the Father with the white stuff on his shirt.
Yeah.
What are you doing for me? Praying for me.
Praying for me.
Somebody in my house could do this.
And prayer is powerful.
It's very powerful.
I'm not gonna prayer is powerful. And prayer doesn't just mean drop to my knees and pray to Jesus or God.
It's very powerful.
It's when you surrender the thoughts for help into the atmosphere.
People play with them. They play with it. I'm telling you, they play. Look at what's his name. Not to even cut you off. Wait. Before you read that, what's the guy that caught the stroke? What's the guy that's with Diddy that caught the stroke?
Robinson?
No. The preacher.
TD Jakes.
Why? What happened to him, man? He's a God-willing man. He's a God-willing man, right? So he opened the Bible every day, but was doing all the wrong things. Why you playing with the man? And the people in your church believe in all the garbage you're telling them, but you're doing everything opposite. And what happens majority of the time to people that's in the church? What are they doing?
Okay, I'm gonna play devil's advocate on that.
I'm asking you a question.
He is a man. He is still. Oh wait. This Mitch Jackson say he is a man. I was just about to say that. He is a man. He is still left to fault.
But I'm not saying, I'm not. No, listen. Your desires are not something that you preach. You don't preach your desires. Mm-hmm. So if you preach your desires, who will go to your church? Why do you keep opening a book that was made to preach to people to have faith, and you don't have none? You have none. You have none. But you have a car. You have a plate that people gave to you, right?
A nice car, too.
A beautiful car.
A few of them.
And a big platform, too.
A big house, too.
Living good. But look at what you're doing. And then you end up catching a stroke.
Is that the higher power?
Oh, yeah. It's coming.
Is the higher power redeeming?
Oh, yeah, it's coming. He comes. He comes. When you play with him, he comes. You know, people say, God, today they can say, oh, God, please, give me everything that I asked you for. And tomorrow you go do something the opposite of what you asked for.
Yeah.
You know, you got to believe in them. People don't believe in them. So going inside the church, it's a sanctuary place, but what am I coming here for?
For faith.
I have faith at home.
No. I see what you're saying.
No, but I can have faith at home, but I'm going to preach to this guy. And years to come, who knows what this guy been doing with the money that he preached for me. And forget the money, because the money's the root of all evil. Why are you asking for money if it's the root of all evil?
I disagree with that too, but that's a different topic.
I'm just saying.
I get where you're going with.
I'm just saying, Spud. I'm just saying. I don't have nothing against the churches. I really don't. It's just things that come out in the churches. I don't even know why you open that Bible. I don't understand why you open that Bible and things came out of this church that was never holy.
You know, religion and faith is a very powerful tool, and depending who's manning that, determines how it's delivered. And a lot of people are played in their faith. They're played in their faith because we put a lot of trust in man.
That's not the man, though.
It's not, but a lot of people do.
I respect it. I respect this, but look, Spud, all the money that you get, all the money that the sanctuaries get, right? The money. Why are people hungry? Why are people homeless? Why are people hungry? And you only give out food on a Sunday?
Hey,
I'm just asking. I'm just saying. If
and then the bigger question, right? Like someone who's in that state could be like, why am I hungry if there's a God?
That's right.
Someone,
but that's what I'm saying.
Someone in that state could say that. You know what I'm saying? Someone could say that. And I also got a big issue with people just saying like, yo, God did that. Like when I got out, I heard a lot of people say, yo, God is good. God got you out. And I totally disagree with that, because if God gave me free will, I still had to move in the actions to do. I don't feel he just does good. Because then there wouldn't be no Sodom and Gomorrah. It wouldn't. He wouldn't have had flood the whole town, killing women and children because of the actions of the people. So God ain't just good. God ain't just good. God is, I am. He is. He is. He's everything. He's everything. It's not just good. It's everything. It's everything. And people got a problem when I say that. But it's true.
People got a problem when you don't say the things that they want to hear when it comes to God. And I say, if this is a sanctuary place and you're supposed to help people, why you don't help people? Why are people hungry?
Because some people are in it for them, for the power.
And majority of them are, listen, your power kills. Power kills.
It does.
So if you're gonna do this to people that really believe in you, why should we come in here?
Some people don't see it that way. They lost. Some people are lost to it.
I'm not. Listen, I don't even see it that way. I'm just not coming in to keep these lights on that you don't own. You don't own this. He does not own this. That man that's sitting up there does not own this place. Because he could be replaced.
Yeah.
They'll ship him out of here and send him somewhere else. So why do you keep sending this tray around 3 times to ask me for something that's going into this sanctuary, and who knows if it is?
Yeah, that's the part. Like, I'm not against the trade. I'm not against the trade. I run a nonprofit. A lot of what we do with the nonprofit is fundraising, getting a budget getting money to service the people. That's what the nonprofit is. We go here, someone gives us some money. Yo, we're going to do this. We're going to teach. We're going to do music, blah, blah, blah. They give me the money. I write up a curriculum. I do the program. And then this is the part that I feel the church is missing out on, right? After I do my program, I got to send my deliverables back to the funder. You gave me $10,000 to every penny. This is where the money went. We got notebooks, we got computers, we got softwares, we went on trips. This is the day rate. We bought food, we did MetroCard. I got to give out a whole deliverable of what I'm doing. Now, if I didn't, if a lot of nonprofits, which even in the nonprofit space, some people get away with it, but in nonprofits, if no one had to do deliverables, people would be just taking that bread and doing whatever they want to do. And a lot of church, unfortunately, don't have to tell their deliverables. So they could get up as much money as they want, and how it breaks down. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I'm not against the trade going around, because he got to keep the lights on, especially if he's a true person of what he means and want to do embetterment in people and want to spread the word of righteousness and whatever, whether it's, again, a Juma, synagogue, church, whatever. If they're just genuinely really trying to, I get it. We got to keep this building up, the upkeep. I'm not against that.
I'm not against church. Like I said, I'm just not.
I don't go.
I'm not going inside. I'm not. I'm for the people who do go. I wish you the best, and that's what you love to do. And for Ms. J, I'm not saying that anybody's supposed to help anybody. I just said if they getting money, why don't they help the people that they trying to help and really help them? If they are getting the money. Money could come from anywhere. It's coming from other people, not from him. So why don't he help other people?
Maybe some more. I can imagine there is. It's just, unfortunately, the hustle is in. And a lot of the places that govern locations that we're in, a lot of them, not all, a lot, we just see outside of that. Because the hustle's in. The hustle's in, bro. The hustle's in, man. Just keep it real. The hustle's in. We all know it. That's why it's a big conversation with the church and offering. In many places, the hustle's in.
And they getting it for real. They getting it. They don't tell you the exact number they collect on that Sunday, neither.
No.
They don't say the exact number.
No, you're not going to say the exact
Because that tray be full. When I was a shorty and he used to come around, he'd be like, damn, that's a lot of bread right there. And you know, you just be like, damn, where all this money go? Then you go downstairs, they selling you food.
See, that's fundraising.
No, that's not fundraising.
No. Selling you food is fundraising. That's a fundraiser. That's a genuine.
Well, that's the way they should keep the lights on.
Yes. Okay.
You understand?
That's fundraising.
You fundraising, sell chocolates. Give the people in the church something to do, to fundraise.
And when you donate money as a nonprofit, everyone who donates money, you can write that off in your taxes. So all the money you donate to a church,
the pastor get taxes?
No. The person who donates the money, we can write that off. All we got to ask is for their EIN number and write it off, because it's a donation. It's a charitable donation. You can't write it off. Just to let everybody know, you can't write it off. It's a donation. Donation to a nonprofit. Church is a nonprofit. You know what I'm saying?
Just say, man. I don't even want to talk about church no more. I'm getting a headache.
We weren't even going to talk about it.
For real. This went real far, man. This went real far today. People is like bugging, yo. They on here going crazy. I'm not gonna talk. Listen, I promise. This is the last time you're ever gonna hear Nate say anything about church, man. It's Fuzz fault.
I'm gonna be like, today, Sherman,
No.
we're gonna be talking about.
No, we're not. I'm sorry, man. Oh my god.
It's a really interesting conversation.
No, it's not, bud. It's not, man. For real, man.
It's a really interesting conversation.
No, because it goes off to another. Yo, people be on here wailing, yo. They be wailing like, yo, you should read it. Don't talk about it. Listen, I'm sorry. It's just him. It's just him, man. I don't know. It was not even supposed to go this far. You talking about Easter?
Yeah, that's what started it all. We was talking about Easter and then I got worked up. Bro.
He really got worked up and went into the scriptures and everything. I forgot I can't talk to him about this. He likes this. He'll stay here all day talking about. Oh my God.
I used to read all week, and Sunday, go to church, sit through the whole day, and then ask to speak to the pastor or the preacher, and have a one-on-one. And I would ask questions, because I was really curious to see, one, his definition, two, if he even knew. I tell you, I kid you no lie, Jehovah's Witness, I be in my window, they walk past my house. You know how many times they told me, we're gonna come back with the answer. I be out the window like, they be like, and Boogie, ring my neighbor's bell. They don't even ask, and I just ask the question. I ask a genuine question.
They got different beliefs too, though.
They do, but all right.
The Jehovah's Witness is like totally different.
I'm gonna say this right now. Every religion, this is my belief, every religion is a parallel pipeline. And then midway through the pipeline, depending how man wants to define it, it start doing this. Once man started, I got a version of the book, and then this person wrote his part, and this is what they meant. Then we get this is what they know. What you mean this is what they? Who told you this is what they meant? You know what I'm saying? That's where it gets great. But they all parallel. It's just defined by region, religion, culture, geographical location. But it all roots to one thing. It's not like 8 different gods, higher powers is up there like this. Yo, they're gonna believe me. No, they believe in me. No, watch, more followers. There's one dude up there like, what the fuck are y'all doing down there, B? He up there like, damn, I gave y'all free will, and y'all was out there wilding with it. You know what I'm saying? Free will, y'all wilding with it. You know what I mean? So it's all the same, and I think once people who get past like, this is just the definition of how I interpret it, whether it's the Torah, the Quran, King James, whether it's the Book of Life, whatever it is, the Kabbalah, so whatever, all the other different stuff that people realize that it's all parallel, bro. It all missed in just righteousness. Like, be just. If you Jewish, I'm Catholic, and you Muslim, if we all just, ain't no problem. If I'm following my book, you following yours, and you following yours, ain't nothing to beef about, bro. We all just. Ain't nothing to beef about. But the parliament was like, no, your book. No, all y'all books is messed up, bro. All y'all books I read them all. They all got something in there where it's like, if you really want, even the 5% is, peace, Lord, don't ridicule me. But everything, if you really read anything, and you don't find something that you be like, you ain't reading it, bro. That's my belief. You ain't reading it. You going over it. You read every word. But if you, in school, what they say, comprehension. I think as we got older, everything we preached as kids or was taught as kids, comprehension. The way it gets great. We just read it. And then we're very great reciters. We'll recite some shit fast, bro. They'll be like one of my favorites is John 3:16, bro. That's one of my favorite scriptures, bro. And the first time I heard it, God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten son. His only begotten son. Who should ever believe in him should not perish, right? And growing up,
Somebody want to chime in?
somebody want to jump on.
Yeah.
But all my life growing up, when I first got that, the hymn was, whoever believed in him should not perish. And when I read further into the scriptures and the book, it was always told that him was Jesus. If you believe in him, you shall not perish. You shall live an everlasting life. But after you read completely the book, the him is not Jesus. The him is God. Whoever should believe in him, who gave his only begotten son, shall not perish. The higher power. But the interpretation that people say is the him is Jesus. When you read that whole chapter, that whole book, you realize, oh snap, who should believe in him? God gave his only begotten son. Who should believe in him? Who gave his only begotten son shall not perish. And that's when I was like, damn, we kind of got this twisted. And that was the first time that I was 16 when I read the book, and I was like, wait a second. Because growing up, you only hear Jesus. And it runs parallel with God. You know what I'm saying? So growing up as a kid, you believe in God, but it's always parallel to Jesus. But when I read that book, I was like, wait a minute. We missing the big homie. We missing the big homie, bro. You know what I'm saying? We missing he said, but should have everlasting life. Yeah, it said, but should have everlasting life. Yo, so when I read that, it opened my mind, bro. It opened my mind and it made me read. And I ain't gonna lie, that was the first thing I used to go to church with.
Listen, everything Spud said today, the 3:16s, I have no idea what he's talking about. He got me lost over here, so y'all gotta take everything out on him today. Y'all can take it out on him.
He said, but the big homie, I never thought about it that way.
Yeah, listen. Everything he say, that's on him today. I have no idea what he's saying. The names he's throwing out.
It's just, again, this is disclaimer.
It's just, that's all.
And please feel free to read and check it out. And I love conversation. It's growth. I don't think we conversate enough on topics that we truly believe in to grow with each other. We just get lost in, one thing.
Somebody said, did Aaron
Hernandez write that on his wall? I think he did. I think that's in the documentary.
He wrote? The big homie?
He said John 3:16.
Oh, I thought he wrote Big Home. Big 3:16, Stone Cold.
And that's where that's the concept of where he got the 3:16 from.
Yeah?
Yeah, he just flipped it. Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say, but I thought that was a stupid reply.
No. That's what he flipped it to his own thing.
But that's why see, I know certain things through actors, do fake stuff. Cause that's fake. That's a straight gimmick.
He said not the big homie.
I thought he put the big homie up there. I was gonna say, what?
The big homie.
I don't know. Listen, I just, sometimes Bud be saying things, I'll be like, I gotta go home and ask questions, because then you ask questions, it get into a fight.
It said, yo, Spud, whatever you had in that bottle, I want. I just ripped off the label because we not doing no free sponsorship.
Yeah.
That's all.
It's just crazy, man. I'm like, he starts saying names, I'll be like, what the hell is Spud talking about today? And them names be like, that's why I don't get into no altercations about the church. This went real far. Today. We was about. Listen,
actually,
man. We had a whole thing.
We was going somewhere else.
Yeah, a whole way else.
Yeah, we really was.
We can talk about it a little bit, because I'm not talking about this church no more. But we was gonna talk about the draft today.
We're gonna talk about draft. Before we go to the draft, I just want to say one thing. And this is for everybody, just to take in perspective of your free will. There's a story of Job. When I didn't believe in anything, my sister, Sophie D, told me, yo, listen, you gotta read Job, who was God's most faithful follower. Satan went to God, basically said, who's your most faithful? Him. He said, you think that this man will ever denounce you? He said, no, I don't think this man will ever denounce me. He said, give me permission. Give me permission to prove that he would denounce you. God said, I'll give you everything, but you can't physically just end his life. You could alter everything around him, but don't touch him directly, right? And this was my sister told me to read this to regain my faith. And I read the story, and again, he lost everything. He lost everything. And I asked my sister, you asked me to read this to gain my faith. Why? She was like, you see, in the midst of his hardships and the myth of everything, he did not denounce God. And everything he went through, down to his deathbed of illness, his farm burned, his cows got killed, everything was removed and stripped from him. He did not denounce God. And this is what I said to her. But God gave Satan the privilege to do that. To prove what? And this is what I mean when people share stories. They so quick to share the story from one perspective, and I look at the whole story. And what that told me was, for me, God was neither good or evil. He is everything that exists. Sometimes we be like, yo, the person got shot down the block. Satan did that. It was willed. If I'm going by the book, it was willed. Poverty is willed. Famine is willed. Everything has to go through. Why is willed? I don't have the cosmic, universal, spiritual essence of the 7 days. I'm not one of the angels that got casted who Satan was. I'm none of that. I don't know none of that. But what that told me was, everything is willed. Everything is granted. So he's not good or evil. He is. Once we could get past the is, I think all the other stuff that's in between the is, we got a better way of just living. And I'm going to close like that, y'all, on that one. And we can move on.
Yo,
we can
don't.
Move on. We can move
This
on.
guy.
We can. Hold on. Ms. Grove said, to prove Satan that God trusted his children, not Satan. But if God is the all-knowing, why did he have to prove to Satan anything? That conversation of proving to Satan was outside of Job, his most faithful believer. So if you're telling me to prove to Satan, you are actually giving Satan that much power of degree to wage a conversation to prove I'm better, or I'm stronger, or I got more believers. That gives Satan too much power. That's why I told my sister that was one of the worst things you could give a non-believer, bro. Because I'm looking at it, they waged a bet. That means they're here. They got something to prove. But he could have just removed Satan. Could he remove? And I said we were gonna get off this.
I told you he won't stop. He's not gonna stop.
But stories like that show too much parallel to the power of Satan, and we as religious people don't realize how much empowerment they give Satan and not God as the all. That's why I say he's neither good or evil. He is. He is. Once we can get past the he is and just stop putting the power on Satan. Yo, Satan did that. The more we keep saying Satan did that, yo, Satan did that, we empower that shit, bro. God is the all in, bro. He's the all in. Satan had to ask him permission. Yo, could I do that? Could I do that? He said, yeah, you could do that. Just don't hurt him. You could do that.
He was trying to get Satan back on the right track, right path.
But it gets worse. By waging his faithful believer. That, you know what you just did? What that did for me in that moment when my sister said it, you lost one. Getting him right. You trying to get him on the right path. But then you do Sodom and Gomorrah, just wipe out a whole area. Wipe out a whole area because they ain't doing what they should be doing. But you wage a bet to show someone that's beneath you that he's wrong. That don't do it for me. And maybe I'm not insight for it. But God, the higher power that exists, you gave me free will, and I'm utilizing my free will. When my judgment day comes, I will sit before you and say, I searched for the true answers that meant to me. He already knows, so I guess me just talking would be senseless. But that's why I'm at with it. We give it too much. We give him too much. We give Satan too much. We get, yo, Satan's a lie. Man, we give that motherfucker too much truth. It wasn't a wager. It was a sure thing. It was a sure thing, then why do it? Who won out of that? Who won?
But
So then you tell me God is prideful. Who won? Who won? What was the moral of the story?
But they're gonna get you. These people are gonna get you, Spud.
He said these people are gonna get. No, I'm saying. See, this is. I had this conversation. What's the moral of that story? Because it had nothing to do with us then. It was between.
Look at all the evidence about
past lives. Past lives are real. I mean, even in some of the books, you even bring up reincarnation. They tell you,
people who get reborn.
They I mean, sometimes they want to chew you up for it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying any of this, y'all, to depower God. I'm saying we put so much faith in the word and less faith in understanding the power. We take these hymns, these tales. Some may be true, some may be a figure of speech. We take a lot of these and we hold as truth and limit the true understanding of what the possibilities, especially when we're talking about a higher power. You know what I'm saying? That's why I say to say God is just good is limiting him. In Genesis, when Eve gassed Adam to eat the fig, because it wasn't an apple, it was not an apple, y'all, it was a fig. When he told him to eat the fig, what did God say? Now that you have come to understand good and evil, not just good and evil, you are one of us. No, you have become one of us. That was God's words. Now that you have come to understand good and evil, you are now one of us. I can't get no clearer. It cannot get no clearer. It can't get no clearer. So he's the all, bro. He's the good, he's the bad, he's the Genesis, he's the Revelations, he's the higher power is of it all.
You know why I don't go to church? I was in church today.
We are creators of our own destiny.
I was in church.
Shout out to you.
I was in church today. Right now. Right now. Right now. Yeah, that's it.
Yes.
That's why I don't bring up anything with church with Spud. It goes, Spud will give you the whole facts. And he said all these names, and I don't have no idea what Spud was talking about today. But I know he was going off about everything in that Bible.
I mean, I just sharing. I'm just sharing.
No, his sharing is not good with these parts. I
I
don't even know why he bought this shit. I should not even taught him about Easter today. That was my fault, man. I'm saying here, I'm lost. I don't even know what Spud was saying today. I'm really lost. And for everybody who was talking to him, man, listen, have fun. I have no.
He said have fun.
I don't even know what Spud was talking about today.
Yo.
He goes in with the religious and the religions, and like I told him, then he gonna ask me why I don't go to church. Do you think that was a good question for Spud to ask me when I'm getting it every day right here? I'm beat up, Miss J. Believe me. You done got me tired. I'm ready to go home and sleep and get under the quilt, 'cause I don't know what's gonna happen to me today. This guy is crazy. He's bugged out. He's really bugging today. Then he said, I'm getting off the topic, and he keep going. And he keep going. He's answering everything on this screen. Whoever asked him a question, he keep going.
Alright, we off.
No, he's not off. Topic. Please don't ask him no more questions.
We off.
He's good today.
My last thing.
No, there's no last.
My last thing.
God.
My last thing.
I'm over here sweating. Listen,
my last-
I'm sweating. I don't know what's going on over here.
My last thing. What we did today, right? What we did today is, and everybody taking a part. What we did today is very powerful because we acknowledge the higher power. It might not be as comfortable as many. It might not be as familiar as others had it. You know what I'm saying? But like shout out to what's that? Rich in the Soul
95.
Now 5. Shout out to Rich in the Soul 95. Just like I was just getting to that. The high vibrations is key. And what we did was we created a whole new high vibrations in the conversation with acknowledgement, with faith, with questioning, growing in our faith. And what we all did today is not wrong, but it's so fearful or shunned upon in these states that we never grow as a people. So we went to church.
We had church.
We went to the synagogue. We went
Today.
to we went to Juma, and even though Juma is only on Friday, we did all that. You know what I'm saying? And we did it on the first day of the week because today is not rest day. That's Saturday.
Don't get him started, please.
That's Saturday.
Look, now he gonna get you to listen, please.
That's Saturday. But
What is that?
that's Saturday. Saturday's the Sabbath.
Yeah.
Saturday's the Sabbath. Today's Sunday. Today's the
So
first.
what's today's
Today's
day?
the first day. Sunday.
So when's the last day?
Did I say it's Saturday?
Saturday,
is the
right?
7th. Yeah, Saturday's the 7th. Sunday is actually when they were doing the days. You know, because Monday was the. I don't even want to get. I said I was getting off.
I told you he can't get off.
She said the temple dungeon.
Oh my God.
On other notes.
No, listen. I really went to church today. I swear. I sat in church today for
I ain't,
an hour.
I ain't speaking about church no more. Bro.
He can't help himself, bro.
That's it. I said enough for today.
That was real. Listen. And people just keep chiming in on him, and he keep answering. I ain't gonna say it again. I'm not gonna say it again. He gonna say it again. He loves topics like this. I'm not saying it no more. Anything he asks me, I'm like, Spud, ask yourself that. I'm not gonna ask him that. I'm not never going into anything with God with
Yes,
Spud.
this is recorded. This is recorded.
Yeah.
On another note,
Listen, man.
We can talk. We can.
I'm sweating over here. My face is all wet. My hands is all. Listen.
Yo, they say we was doing Bible study.
Yeah, we.
Yo, said we were doing Bible study.
Yeah, listen. He even called God the big homie. I never thought about that.
It's the big homie, bro.
I never thought about that's a good word,
That's
Spud.
the big homie, bro.
I'm gonna be like, yo, you ever prayed to the big homie?
Big homie.
That's a good word, Spud.
Like,
That's a great word,
That's the
Spud.
ultimate big homie, bro. Like that's the ultimate. Miss Groves, love you. Have a good night.
No, Miss Jane,
They
he
said,
cannot.
they said lay hands on-
No, he cannot. And he's sitting right next to me. I don't even want to touch me. I even told him it was a good thing that he didn't go to church. And I had church today, right here on a Sunday, with Spud.
Yo.
He went off today, Miss J. I had to sit here and think about it like, he's not going to stop.
I will say, shout out to everybody on TikTok. Shout out to everybody on Instagram. I know it's an uncomfortable conversation, or can be an uncomfortable conversation. I know a lot of the things that was said probably go against what a lot of people may feel and stuff. But everybody's been a super great sport, chiming in, even if it was kind of against or even felt threatening. I want to salute y'all for chiming in the conversation. I really love the conversation. Again, it wasn't to down or point the fingers on. It was just for the embedment, for, if you want to say, the Holy Spirit, like really getting into that consciousness of soul, whatever that means for you. If you're a 5%er, if you Muslim, if you Nation of Islam, Christian, Catholic, Baptist, whatever it is, Jewish, whatever it is you believe in, curious on, whatever it is, even if you was just taught it, you find that peace in yourself and that comfortability to challenge yourself in your belief, to strengthen it. Nothing grows without the strain. If I go to the gym and I can lift 25 pounds for 1,000 reps, no one's gonna call me strong until I get to that 100 pound and I strain and I lift it once, and I drop it. They be like, "Dad, that boy's strong," because strength and growth comes with that resistance and the challenge of getting past the resistance. So shout out to y'all for like going through the resistance and adding and partaking in that, man. I really I really, appreciate and respect that.
I don't have anything to say. I'm not. Listen, it's like I'm not here today. I'm just here. Look, you know how they got the guy on the side that just puts his hands up? That's just me. I'm putting my hands up. I can't no more. I gave up. I gave up a long time ago.
And then he said, "Yo, that's it."
Once his scriptures started coming in and he started putting the numbers up, and listen, I'm good.
To switch, Cash App, please.
No, please. Oh my God. Oh my God, we going down, spot. I swear today.
I'm gonna be sending this around.
No, huh?
I'm gonna be sending this around. You got anything? You gonna just throw something in there?
Hold on, wait, let me put a tip.
There you go. There you go.
To start it off.
To start. We starting it off, right?
Yo, we going down. We going down,
But see, I'm gonna do it different. That's to help put the lights on, keep the stuff running. The cameras cost. You know what I'm saying? The audio equipment, all this stuff costs. So this is. I'm sending this. See, I'm letting y'all know. I'm sending that around so we can keep the flow going.
And look, we started off with $100. Put it on the table.
We sending it around. We
gonna get in trouble.
He said
God forgive me, please, please. I'm done.
God knows my heart. He knows your heart,
done,
bro.
Spud.
He knows we mean it in a good place, man.
Whoever got the fruits, we take it. The fruits, listen.
Vegetables.
Anything. We listen, man.
Have some fruits.
I'm sorry, man. Oh my God, I can't believe it. Why did he go off today?
That was not planned.
Out of all days.
That wasn't planned. That was not planned.
No, it wasn't, and it's never planned.
Yeah, we just flow. But I do want to switch speeds for like the next 20 minutes. Just curious to hear what everybody got to feel about Deion Sanders. If anybody follows sports, and she said I just peed my pants. If anybody follows sports, how you feeling about the Deion Sanders son?
They violated, bro. They really violated. They violated Chanel, man, and all I can say is they violated, bro. They violated, and if they did that because of his dad, that was foul, bro.
Yeah.
If they did that for his father,
are you surprised though?
I'm very surprised because I thought he was gonna go from 1 to 10. I really did. Then when I started when I turned the TV off and I woke up and he still was undrafted and I'm like, what the hell? Then he was like going a lot. Like he went all the way to 5th round and he was predicted for one of the top 10.
Yeah.
And the guys they put ahead of him was nowhere near as good as him. And I'm like, something got to be wrong. And they can't hate Deion that much.
They do.
Why? Because he could play?
It's sad to say. It's sad to say, but the culture of the States.
That's sad, bro. And Jay-Z should be, back to Jay-Z, he should be ashamed of himself, bro. Jay-Z should be ashamed of himself even endorsing the NFL, bro.
He should, I always been
Kaepernick.
Yes.
All these people. Now I'm starting to see. And you know what? Deion said something that made a lot of sense. I'm not just gonna let my son go to anybody. And that's what I think hung his son. But any dad would do it. Any dad would do it. But it's foul the way they treated him.
They was letting everybody know. And like this country has a big thing of making examples, right? Even, and I don't want to make it parallel to slavery, but they always had this that buck breaking mentality. It's like, we're gonna make an example to keep everyone in order. You know what I'm saying? They always show so often. Now, take Deion, take his son. I'm asking you, what behavior deems what happened to him? Like, what did he do ever to deem that to happen to him?
I don't know. Like, that's what's bugging me out. 'Cause he had jury. What? I don't know. Like, what was wrong? He cocky like his father? I don't know. But he can play.
He could play.
He could play.
He could play.
LeBron did it. LeBron did it with his son.
but
He's the face of the NBA.
not only that, and I don't want to say LeBron falls in line, but LeBron falls in line.
He does.
He falls in line to the set.
But you cannot.
You know what I'm saying? Like what the gang members say, there's no one bigger than the program.
Well,
you know what I'm saying? And what they did was they was trying to show all the other future Sanders, all the future creators, the people who gonna invest, that feel like, yo, I don't gotta fall in line. What they were trying to show all of us was like, yo, you don't fall in line, you get left in line. And that's what that was all about. It was about showing that.
That's corny, bro. They really put him at 144, where he don't get no bread. He don't get no bread. He can actually go back to school. He can actually go back to school. That's how far he went back in the draft. That's how real it is. He can go back to Colorado and play again, bro. He can go play again.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
I've been out of football since Jay-Z been doing halftime shows. I've been out of there.
Listen, I don't know who that is. Ames on point.
Shout out to
he
Ames
was being
on
a
point.
little cocky talking about watch my tape, but he can play. If you could play, he did like a.
So like cocky is one thing.
There's a lot of people. There's a lot of people that's cocky in sports. There's a lot of people.
Yeah.
Listen.
Cockiness don't deem what they did. Like what they did was to somebody who caught charges when he was in college, had a case that he beat, but he probably looked like what they did to him was beyond cockiness. It was beyond cockiness. It was a statement. They was showing not just him. They was showing all the others who feel your talent is your all. That your talent could get you in the spot. They letting you know it ain't just talent. You gotta fall into what we want.
But that's the only sport that does that. You know that? You know that?
Blatantly.
No, they do it.
Yo,
baseball don't do that.
Blatantly.
Baseball don't do that. Baseball do not. Yo, listen, I don't care if you said anything. Baseball players, they don't do it. They don't even speak their language. They getting, listen.
They getting taken care of.
They getting taken care of, bro. They bringing that bread in.
Yeah, dinero.
And NFL bring almost $500 million every Sunday off for endorsements. And you mad because that kid is talking what he about?
That's the problem.
But that don't got nothing to do with you.
But
that's like college. You know the name on the back of the shirts? They getting paid for them kids' names on there. Now the kids are getting the bread.
Yeah. But NFL is the same place that basically blackballed a man for taking a knee in the essence of the injustice that black people were facing outside of the NFL. Like his knee had nothing to do with the NFL. His knee was in representation for people that was suffering. And they blackballed him for that. And then they made it an NFL thing. You're talking about an organization, a company,
it's disgusting.
An empire that did that, which people don't realize. If I say,
who owns it?
If I say this,
who owns it though?
We know who owns it.
Who owns it?
We know who owns it. We know it ain't us who owns it.
No, but who owns it?
You probably know better than me.
They all Jews. And why they own it? And what happens when you violate?
You get
done
off, right? You get done off.
And why is Diddy in jail?
We know why Diddy. He did the lawsuit.
But for those
that don't know, he did the lawsuit.
It always fails and then our color make it worse because they start really shitting on us.
Yeah,
they start really shitting on us, and it's this is another thing. You know, I was thinking about this before I wanted to start with Spud. That kid, no, for real. There's a kid that they bailed him out for stabbing a kid in school. I don't know if you heard about it. He stabbed the kid in school because they was bullying him. Black kid.
Okay.
They bailed him out of jail, and his bail was, I think, $250,000.
Okay.
And our own people were saying he shouldn't be home. He shouldn't be home.
I'm not too fond of that story.
I don't know the name of the kid. Bro. But it was a track race. It was a track race. That kid. And all the people was like really shitting on this kid, bro. And you hear people saying, why is he home? Listen, nobody knows the circumstances of what happened, right or wrong. But you know, the race card is disgusting when things happen. It's disgusting. And this kid is getting death threats. Like bad things are happening to this kid, bro, cuz he's home. But it's just disgusting how our own culture would throw him under the bus instead of helping.
But we scarred people, bro.
Listen, Spud. This
That's-
is why when you say
bro.
yeah, we scarred, but at the end of the day, we have to stick. Listen, if we don't be together, it's never gonna work.
So there's always gonna be the field and the house, Negro, because I don't use the N word. That formula was created for division. And those that reap the benefit of being on the porch is always gonna be that disbalance. We can't, as a people, worry about who's on the porch, cause they're gonna do porch things. When we in the field, we gotta huddle with us, and that's one
his
concept
name.
we gotta.
Carmelo Anthony.
Oh, okay.
That's
okay.
the kid.
Yes.
That's the kid, Carmelo Anthony. And I didn't understand. I didn't understand how people was bashing him, bro. I really didn't understand, bro.
Now.
People were saying why he had a weapon in school. You know, listen, man. They was bullying him, as they said. He was getting bullied. He was getting bullied, bro. He had to protect. Listen, I'm not saying to kill anybody. But at the end of the day, a kid is gonna protect themselves if they get bullied.
What bothers me in situations like this, and just overall in overall senses, like you know, we could even take the stand your grounds, like the Trayvon Martin years ago, right? What bothers me in situations like this is when, if the roles were reversed, the penalties don't stay the same. Like if a black man stood his ground, shot a kid because he's a white kid with a hoodie and Skittles, courts would have dealt with him differently.
But that's
what bothers me.
But that's what I'm saying.
So in a case like this, and I got to do a little bit more research. So I'm speaking out of turn, and I'm man enough to say I'm speaking out of turn if I say anything incorrect. But if it was reversed, if black kids was bullying a white dude, and he stabbed him and kid died, and I could guarantee the approach of how they dealt with him he probably wouldn't even had that big of a bail. You know what I'm saying?
It's just ridiculous, but that it gotta go this far for them to just like keep criticizing the kid. He's a kid, bro. He's a kid. And they could say they blowing it out of proportion, but like you say, if it was the other hand and they hurt a black,
somebody say, yo, why can't we just throw hands? And
that's not heard of anymore.
Why the knife? I mean,
but listen. If you and you know what, you said a good word. Why couldn't you throw hands? Do they know how to throw hands?
Not only that. The why we can't throw hands, right? Why we can't throw hands? Yes, why can't we throw hands? But why can't when the tables are rolled? Why can't they throw hands? Why can't anyone throw hands? But we always get questioned as a people in the degree of our actions outside of any race. It's evident. I'm not even making this up. I'm not even making it up. It is. I don't care if I go outside right now and a cop pull me over and I be like, yo, I ain't giving you my ID. I ain't doing that. They're gonna probably break my windows, pull me out. They're gonna say to me, yo, why did you go against the cop? Why do the same thing? They go get the sergeant. They take different steps, and then you know what they say to the white guy? He knew his law. It's the game is rigged. I don't care what we do. There's always gonna be the why we didn't. That's the name of the game for us. We want the game to be fair. We want the level playing field. We not getting the level playing field ever.
And whoever that guy is, P. Diddy, that's his name. You say why they don't fight. When was the last time you seen a dude fight, bro? When do these kids, and the first thing that these kids do when they fight, what they pull out? A phone, bro. If this kid is getting bullied every day, you think he's gonna fight?
He probably, yeah.
You think he's gonna fight? This generation, like they say, they don't play fair, bro. They don't even know what fighting is.
Nah.
They have no idea what a fair fight is. So the more they fight, this is what you get for people that's gonna not live their life too long. These kids don't know what life is. Let's take a knife out. Let's take a gun out.
Not only yeah, these kids don't, but the ratio of standard is not across the field for our kids. I'm gonna give you a good example of why the ratio for our kids is not the same. A white kid goes into a school, AK, M16, shoots the school up. He gets walked out. He gets walked out. I don't think people understand how powerful that action to see a kid shoot up a school and get walked out. If the kid was any race but white, it's a man down. And then it's justified. He gets walked out. So the level
What
of
McDonald's?
people the level of respect that we have as people is not the same. It's not the same.
It's disgusting.
It's not the
bud.
same,
It's
bro.
disgusting.
It's not the same.
I like I say, they should not do that to that kid, bro. And like you said, if it was on the other foot, what would have happened? The kid would have just been dead and he would have been forgotten about. And the kid would have went to court and played insanity. Or they would have let him go.
And don't get me wrong, no matter what the color is of the person, if a white kid is getting bullied by 5 black people and he stabs a black dude, we as a black people will be like, yo, why he can't just fight, and why I get that argument. My argument isn't that. My argument is the law. How the law looks at the equation of the black and white kid. Because if the white kid stabbed the black kid, I can guarantee you he wouldn't have had a $200,000 bail. It would have been less. It probably would have been, yo, he got bullied. They would have automatically went into all 5 black kids to dig up if they had charges, if their father was locked up. They would have been painting that in the perspective of the news.
Of the
so
news.
people had a viewpoint, a condescending
Of them not
view
knowing what they are.
who they are.
Yeah.
That's what bothers me.
But
It
that's
ain't
a
the
known
same.
fact, bud.
It
That's
ain't
a
the
known
same.
fact.
If you do it across the board, then I can't argue with you.
They don't
But
do
it
that.
ain't dealt with the same. That's my problem.
And you know what? People say, oh, what if the kid went to somebody and said they was bullying him and nobody helped him? What should he do? What should he do? It could go a lot of ways.
He said to P. Diddy, he said, why does it gotta be race based? Why can't it don't have to be race based when we dealing with our people. But when it comes to the courts, we already know it's race based. That's what I'm arguing. I'm not arguing the action. I'm not arguing it. I'm arguing how the viewpoint of individuals get held. We're not held. A black kid is not held at the same legal standards as a white kid in court. It's not. It's a fact. I'm not even just saying it because I'm a young black man. It's a fact. There's studies. There's Cornell studies. There's Ithaca studies. There's Rutgers University studies. It's a fact. It's a fact. That's where I got my beef with. Yeah, as people, strip the law away. As people, we got a lot of work we got to do. But on top of the lot of work we got to do, we got entities that's supposed to hold at equal standards, and it's tipped out of our favor. You know what I'm saying? That's my beef.
It's disgusting that people would like criticize this kid the way they are, man. And it's bad, man. And it's our own culture that's actually doing it. Saying that he deserves to be in jail. Listen, nobody deserves to lose their life, man. Nobody deserves to lose their life. But, you know, some kids don't know how to protect themselves, bro. Some kids don't know how to protect themselves. And even if they did know how to protect themselves, what if they would have hurt that kid and killed him? What it would have been on the other foot? What if he would have hurt that kid and stabbed him before he did it? You know, it's a lot of circumstances to whatever happened, but you know that kid came out of jail and it's like, yo, he can't live a regular life no more, bro. I think his parents gotta move. Like it's getting crucial, man.
Yeah.
You know, they do it to us and it's cool. It's cool. But, you know, them other foots is like Like me and you have kids that are not our color, bro. And I damn somebody hit my kid, Spud. Or my kid come home and tell me, yo, dad, his kid is bullying me. What? I'm going to break him up. Because who's going to help my kid?
Yeah.
This generation, Spud, at home, your kid come home and tell you something, yo, go handle that.
I told my daughter.
Go handle that.
I told my daughter was getting bullied in school. I sat her down. First I asked her, how does it make her feel? I was trying to get an understanding of what that bullying meant. And then I said, yo, the next time they do that, you tell them, I said a whole bunch of, you tell them that, and if they cross that line, you defend yourself. But I'm gonna get in trouble. Don't worry about that. I'm gonna come up, and we're gonna have the discussion, since we're gonna do that. And she did it, and I got called to the school. And the principal was like, "Oh, your daughter in the middle of the class told another girl, shut the fuck up," in class. And, you know, the principal was like, and we gonna do it. I stopped him. Hold on. First of all, I don't trust you. She was like this. I said, second of all, what she did was wrong. But I told her to defend herself. We gonna deal with that. What we gonna get to now is why she screamed across the class. Because I see one person here. She screamed at something. There's only one person here. And you so quick to ridicule her. So I gave her the green light to do that. I'm going to defend you. But we're going to deal with that. Because it's still cause and effect. But defend yourself, man. Defend yourself. And like they said, yo, it starts in the home, man.
Yeah, they listen to home.
They don't even help they laugh. That's real.
No.
Teachers.
They don't care.
A lot of teachers don't care. It's different.
It's a total difference in teachers.
It's different.
Remember,
now.
the teachers are 21, 22 years old. These are high school kids. College kids.
Teachers is filming and posting stuff that's going on in the school.
That's disgusting, bro. My daughter's school. Yo, listen, my daughter's school the other day, somebody had a gun at my daughter's school. There's two schools, and one of the schools has metal detectors. The other school don't have metal detectors.
So they went into that side.
No, the staff is bringing the weapons in for the kids.
Oh wow!
So the principal gets on the TV on a little conference call. Mind you, we had an altercation at the school already, and everything is swept under the rug.
Wait, the staff was bringing in?
Bro.
What is this, Clinton?
Yes,
This is
but that's what I'm telling you. Listen, these kids get cool with the teachers. Man, dude, they get cool with teachers that are 23, 24 years old. Probably these teachers still in the clubs, in the streets, living their hood, whatever.
Yeah.
They
On
cool
TikTok.
with them. You're dancing, wilding, doing it in the bathroom with them, putting the phones on the floor. But now, this kid brought a gun into the school, hid it in his locker, in a sweater, and 5 kids get called for and a staff member. Did that make the news? No.
Nah.
At all. You didn't even know.
Nah,
So when I'm home listening to it on a screen, you know, my wife chimes in and says something, and that shit went another way. Because now the dean is trying to protect herself, but this has happened constantly.
Yo, what is going on?
But this is what you deal with in the schools now.
God damn.
In the schools now, you got to worry about your kid going home because you don't know what your kid's going to face in the school with metal detectors. How did you get a gun in there with metal detectors?
You got a plug.
Somebody let you in. It's like in the jails. How you get a phone, how you get a banger if you're not going outside.
Shit sound like prison.
So, and what does schools look like?
Prison.
A prison.
School do
So,
look like prison.
everything that they doing to these kids.
I was there.
Everything that they giving to these kids now is ridiculous. It's crazy. The teachers don't even teach no more. If you don't want to learn, the teachers don't care. Yo, Spud, my 13-year-old son can't write script.
They don't even teach script no more in school. Yo, I'm doing that in the house.
But this is what I'm saying.
I'm doing that in the house. That you just brought that up, bro. They don't do.
So how do you
bro.
take things from these kids and knock it off? What do these kids got to live for if they only know how to fight? That's all they know how to do is fight and film each other.
They very good. They good movie producers.
Oh my God, great!
This generation,
they great.
We got movie producers out the ass. these kids, they do the whole production.
They look
the
great on there, bro.
What?
They look great on
They
there,
are
bro.
amazing. I ain't never seen as much choreographed dancing.
They look good up there. They even got dances to
tutorials.
songs. Oh my God,
they are
bro.
some good. Man, we got some production.
They even got good. They got words for shit that I never even heard of.
Skibbity Ohio.
Yeah, like I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
My daughter said, "Yo, that's Skibbity." I was like, "Skibbity, that sound crazy, bro."
They be wildin', bro.
Talking about I'm a Rizzler. Like, I'm a Rizzler. Ain't that a candy?
I forgot. Yo, and then the principal said, yeah, you know, these altercations don't happen rarely, but what if the kid would have shot the school? What if there's always a what if?
You know they didn't make it a big deal when it was an internal thing.
But it's in Soho.
Look at that.
No, the school I didn't even tell you where the school was. The school's in Soho.
Media was not gonna cover that.
Okay, it's in Soho.
If it was in
Up the
Brownsville,
block- oh yeah, it would have been all over the TV.
On all the New York
And
ones.
this is on everything. Channel 7. They would have had the whole kid's face on there talking about his pops and that he had a record.
All that.
And I'm starting to say, why do they keep covering this? What's next though? If somebody could get a gun there.
Not even what's next. What got by us, bro? What got by? If they could be like, no, this is nothing. What got by already, bro? That's the scary part.
I'm just learning that, you know, like I tell my kids, protect yourself, you know, just be careful and always be mindful. Watch what you're doing. Watch what you're doing. And if you feel some type of way, like, I'll go up there. We'll go up there with no problem. But, you know, when the teacher call, oh, your child this, but what about the other kid? So, and a majority of the times we'll ask to meet with the parents, and they dub that. Oh, no, we can't have that. But why my kid get it, but we can't have it with them neither?
That was my point with the school.
So when it's, like they say, you get it from your home, so we want to see what you got at home. Bring your mother and father, we will go, and we'll figure it out. And whatever happens, happen. Listen, if you want to go your route is not working. You're not doing anything to help these kids no more.
Yeah,
they're programmed. They don't have none. They have nothing, bro. These kids have nothing. And when I see stuff like that on TV, a kid stabbing a kid, bro, you young, bro. Like, what made you even think about even offing somebody?
No parent meets no more. It's not, bro. Everything is like they want to just Google Chrome you to death. Google Chrome. If I would have said that to my kid, they would have called me a boomer, bro. Google Meets, yeah, they would. Every time I mess something up, oh, you a boomer. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's not that human conversation, that human touch has got so digital, bro. We rely on social media minusing the social actions. It's more like distant media. I don't know why it's called social media. It should be called distant media.
It's disgusting.
Pushes everything.
It's disgusting how they treat these kids, bro. I really feel bad for them, bro. I feel bad for them, bro. And they think everything is funny, bro. They think everything is funny. They're filming it. They didn't even know that. They incriminating themselves putting that shit in their phone, bro.
Yeah.
They don't have no idea, bro. And reality, to get them back to reality, like they say on there, lost touch with reality. Their reality is, I don't even know what the hell they gonna bring to their reality, bro. If you don't mold them the way you want them to go.
You know what's so hard? Like the power of social media, like it took over TV. It took over the news. It took over shows. It took over the game demographic. Kids sit for hours and watch a kid play a game. Like the power of how it took and seized over, and it's meshing interrupting the day-to-day activities of reality into this small device. Or sometimes it's a little bigger, or sometimes it's like this, where kids are growing up in that. You know how hard it is to compete, to tell them, because this is all they know. Now we got a better insight because we know the before, and then we see this, and we're like, yo, this is crazy because. But when they grow up in this, we trying to school them to it. It's like, what are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? I open up a laptop. I kid you not, I opened up a laptop. I remember a kid touching the screen like, oh man, he grew up in the touch. Like I remember when touch was a fly. It was fly. Like yo, son, you could touch, bro. That's crazy. Now I open up a laptop and kid touched my joint and it was a Mac. He was like, man, this is corny. I'm like, yo, this is the newest MacBook. He like, man, that ain't it. Because they grew up in it. So we having a harder time guiding them because they growing up in it. They in the mix. The mud, the grit, the dirt, the noise. But we know the outside. So for us, it's clearer. It's clear for us. But to them, this is all they know. Like, what are you talking about? VHS. I told my daughter we had to wait next week to watch a TV show. She was like, wait, so you couldn't watch like 5 episodes or watch the whole thing? She was like, oh man, I can't even. She couldn't even she couldn't even believe that. Like, what? Like, she's like, that don't make sense. Like, you have to wait a whole week for the next episode. I was like, yeah, you couldn't just like binge watch a show. She couldn't even comprehend it. She was just like, she looked at me like, she looked like she wanted to hug me. Like, she felt bad. Like, oh, dad. Oh, man. But they grow up in this, so they don't know. They don't know.
She said you can't even hit your kids without ACS. Yeah, you can hit them. Tear their ass up. Don't believe that shit. Listen, tear their ass up. Do like your mother, father used to do. Tear your ass up.
But I do get what she's saying. Like,
no, listen.
Because they so quick to like the schools. Everything was so quick to.
Listen, man. The schools don't even do their job as it is, man. They can't tell you how to raise your kids, man. And these kids, that's what the problem with the kids do. They go, oh, my school told me this. You know what, your school gonna get your ass whipped. They gonna get your ass whipped.
Word up.
I listen.
She said, oh, I know Ames on point. Ames on point ain't playing no games. Ames on point is running a tight ship. I know that for a fact. She said, oh, I do. I'm speaking for the ones who don't check their kids, and it's true.
And some of them are scared of their kids.
It's true. Some of
them are terrified of their kids.
Some of them don't know the balance between parent and friend.
Fuck out of here, bro.
You know what I'm saying? They don't know the balance between parent and friend.
Listen.
And you gotta balance. Balance.
Listen, there's no balance, but
no, you do.
You know what's the balance? What I say goes. Ain't no balance.
But then there's a moment where you gotta be like, yo, what's good, man?
No, we cool.
You know what I'm saying?
Cool.
There is a balance between the friend and the parent. You cannot let one supersede the other. And the reason why I say that, I grew up with my pops being a parent and you know what I did? I got great at hiding shit. That's why at the age of 15, I was sentenced to life. I was great at hiding it because I wasn't friends with my parents. I couldn't come to them with nothing because they were so enforcing. I kept it quiet. I just became a good hider. Excellent hider. Guns in the ceiling. Got suspended, still getting dressed, going to school.
Thank God my kids don't.
You know what I'm saying?
My kids, you know what's
So that balance between that friendship is a key, man. And I took that enforcing from my parents. And I also, she said, there's no friends.
Nah.
And I get what people are saying. But for me, the reason why I want to have that friendship, because when it goes down to it, I could talk to them and I could get that conversation that they don't want to share with no one or they're scared to. Because when the cops ran down on me in Transit Tech, cuffed me in the precinct, and my pop sat in front of the precinct, and he said to me, my boy, why you didn't come to me? Reason why I couldn't go to him? Because I knew I was wrong. And I knew I didn't have a friendship to go to my pops like, yo, pops, somebody got bodied. I'm involved in this. What could we do? What I did, I tried everything in my power to keep that concealed because I wasn't a friend with my pops. My pops was the enforcer. Yeah. Now, me knowing that, never again. I'm going to take the enforcing. What I say, go.
That's right.
But when it comes down to it, like, yo, what's up? We crack our little jokes. We got our conversations. And I understand. I let her like, yo, you could come to me.
Listen,
you could come to me. I'll be your friend.
I'm sorry.
I'm balancing.
I'm sorry, but I'm going upside their fucking head.
No,
I'm not. Listen,
I'm not saying
don't tell me nothing. I make sure that they understand this every time. Your name get brought up. That shit come back to me, I'm whipping your ass. If you was right or wrong, I'm whipping your ass. Cause this is the way I was. Listen, I was raised like this.
I got you.
And if you don't listen, and your name shouldn't be in nothing. Go to school, do your work, and be on your P's and Q's. We good. We could crack jokes and all that. If you give this, I'ma go upside your head. I'm just letting you know. Don't play with me. We don't got nothing to play with.
Just a perspective. Just a perspective. You plant that long enough. Hold on. You plant that long enough when the kid is in a situation, and not saying this could happen to you, but if you plant that long, the possibilities of a kid needing you when they're in the wrong is minimal. You lessen the chances of them coming to you.
You know what, Spud?
If you plant that long enough.
You know that you said that? I'm going to knock this right now. My daughter got into a situation. Mm-hmm. After the whole situation, listen, no matter what my daughter said, we chastised her and all that. Mm-hmm. That situation probably could have been knocked off. Mm-hmm. But like my daughter said, I told y'all, she did. But the situation should have never went that far. But it was already escalating. Mm-hmm. And the more we came to it, the more it got out of control. And my daughter to this day will be like, yo, daddy, I don't tell you nothing. But when I find out, it's a different situation. It's a different. It's different, Spud.
Just an advice for not just you, everyone, because what your daughter just said, that was, and this is why I'm the way I am. What your daughter just said, I was there. I was there when shit got crazy for me, bro. And I came home, bro. I remember the day, bro. I remember when it all jumped off. My mom's already had passed, so all I had was my dad. I came home, bro, and I looked at my pops. And I wanted to say, yo, Pops, I'm in trouble. I gave him a hug, and I went in my room, closed the door, and I ain't say nothing.
No.
Because I couldn't go to him because I didn't have that relationship, bro.
No. I'm saying it the wrong way.
Okay.
My daughter will tell me little things, like things. She don't hide nothing from us.
Okay.
She don't hide nothing. That's one thing that my daughter don't do. She won't tell me things that she know that'll get under my skin. I might hear from somebody that she just said it to, because they're going to tell me. All the people she talked to, they tell her, or they tell my wife. Somebody's going to get load of it. And when it goes back to her, you know, it could be anything that happened. But it's going to happen. So I'd rather you do come tell me than to hide it.
Yeah.
I don't want you to hide nothing from me, but I'm not your friend. You can talk to me. Don't play with me. Don't ever think that we cool. We're not cool. I'm gonna lump you. Listen, we're not cool.
Tell my brother.
My son is my man. You know that.
Yeah, I know.
And I'll tell him.
Little Nate.
And little Nate to tell you, like, yo, my daddy love me, but he don't play with me. Like, I'm not playing with you, bro.
And I'm not saying don't play. I'm not saying don't be strong. And when I say friend, I don't mean like let them slide.
No, I know what you mean.
And go hang out and go spin the block with them.
No.
I'm not saying all that.
I know people that do stupid stuff like that too with their kids.
I do too, but that's why I brought it up.
That's stupid.
But what I am saying is like there is a balance, man, and we got to be careful how we enforce and how we foster the relationship, because too much friendship, they're not gonna have no guidance. Too much guidance, they're gonna be very hidden, and you won't really know your child because they're gonna do everything they need to know what the program is. They're gonna fulfill the program, and then we'll be thinking everything is good because we getting it the way we want. Everything's good, and then out of nowhere it's like, when was this?
I even hit kids with, yo, how many friends you got? They go, I got mad friends. Don't worry. When you get my age, I'm going to ask you again, how many friends do you have?
Yeah.
I said, if you could tell me the meaning of a friend, I'll leave you alone.
And don't go up north. Cause
they don't.
It gets minimized fast.
Listen.
That gets minimized very fast.
That's
subtraction,
disgusting.
The mathematics on the subtraction on that one, whoa, immediate. It happens fast, but that's just my that's why, you know, I try to balance it. I mean, I am an enforcer. I shut it down. I don't got a problem.
You don't play with your daughters.
No, I don't play.
You don't play.
I don't play.
You say you cool because you dad. I understand what you're saying. I don't mean that you let them run over you.
No.
Listen, I know you ain't gonna tell your daughter, yo, spin the block, I'm coming with you. You're not doing that.
I'll be like, yo, I got the shiesty, son. What we doing? That stuff right there? Let me jump out first. They don't know me. They don't know me, son. They don't know me. Let me jump out first. When I hit you with the ooh,
Come through. Jump out.
you jump out, bro.
No.
The car's on the corner. Jump in the whip. No.
I know you. Listen. Don't listen to this part.
My man said it. My boy always say, man, if you're not laughing, you crying, bro.
Yeah.
That was my shout out to
He's
Shaw.
hilarious.
Shout out to Shaw.
He's hilarious. He said he got the shiesty on. He gonna jump out first. Yeah, he wild.
They don't know me. I'm gonna jump out first.
He wildin'. Don't listen to him. He is bugging, man. Bug got doing it, so don't listen to him, please. Oh my God.
I can't even joke like that with my little daughter.
Why?
She with the smoke.
Yeah?
She with the smoke. Yeah.
My daughter's like that. My daughter, Lil Nate be like, yo, I gotta think about this one, daddy. I be like, yo, what you gotta think about, bro? My daughter, sometimes she be like, yo, dad, you getting soft, yo. I be like, damn, bro, you can't even help me.
My little one, the middle one, Jelly's the peace one. She be like, nah, I don't even want to make a big deal. She's the one that'll be like, Casey be like, who? Who said it? Who said what? Who said what? I be like, Casey, chill. No. That's dumb. That's she be ready.
You always got a cool one in the back.
Jelly be like, no, let's go. Let's go. Casey would be like, who said it? Chill, Casey. Casey be with it. Casey,
My daughter be with it.
Casey be with it, yo.
I'm telling you, I used to be like thinking my daughter was gonna be like the soft one, Lil Nate was gonna be tougher. And my daughter be with it. My daughter be like, yo, daddy, let's go right now. I be like, yo, chill, man. There's times I gotta tell her before she go to school, like, yo, listen, you gotta chill, yo. Don't go to school starting on. She be like, nah, daddy.
Yeah.
I watch. She be like, I watched Baddies or something, and they was throwing their hands. I'm ready to throw it up.
Yo,
I be like, yo, you
peanut butter's like me all day.
Nah, they wildin', bro.
I had to be careful. I had to be more mindful of how I am, right? So, we drive, I pick her up all the time, and sometimes people do something dumb, and I be like, yo, you a bonehead, and I drive off, and I do that. And one day I was just driving, and the dude did this pull, cut me off, and I just left it alone, and Casey ran the window down. It was like, yo, you a bonehead, and I'm like, Casey. She was like, yo, he cut us off, and I'm like, yo, Casey, chill. She's like, he was wrong, but then what I told her is like, yo, what if he had road rage and had a gun? And something happened. So we had a learning situation. But what that told me was, I got to be easy. Because as light as, yo, you bonehead. And I just dip off. She looking at me like, oh, that's the moves. That's how we moving. Yo, she ran the window down, bro. Was like, yo, you a bonehead. He was looking like damn, little mama's getting at me. I'm like, Casey. But she did it with so much conviction that I had to be mindful of like, yo, they learn from us. You know what I'm saying? They watch. Even if we not teaching it, they watch. So even in that sense,
my daughter's a firecracker, bro. She's so quiet, bro. She's a firecracker. She's real quiet, bro. But yo, bro, it be times they be calling and like it be a problem in her family. She be like, I'm going. I be like, where you going, yo? My son would be like, Daddy, I'm going to sleep. I be like, yo, go to sleep.
Quiet one.
She bugged out.
Itch is a quiet one.
Nah, Itch is too quiet, yo.
That boy's an atom bomb.
Itch is bugged out, yo.
Yo, Itch growing up, I don't know. Anytime something was pop, Itch could be mad quiet. Something pop off, yo. It was like, he does this. He was like Thor in the hood. He did this in a brick of pit. He probably laughing right now. Yo, I kid you not. He could be walking down the street, something pop or somebody. He be like this, and a brick just goes. He look, see, bang bang, a brick, son, and then it's on. I don't know where the bricks come from, bro. He's like the Thor, bro. He just be like.
I just like in Maryland. When we was in Maryland, he didn't even hang out with. He was nowhere
Man, he
near.
said 3 words in Maryland.
I swear to God, yo. I swear to God, yo. We was chilling. I'm like, yo, wait. I just had to look around. He was always watching, yo. I said, yo, we bought the right one, yo. He was watching everything. He was like, yo. He was like, yo, Nate, that one right there. Just pay attention, Nate.
My introduction to Bosco, he was like, yo, that's your brother. I said, he crazy.
Yeah, he's very crazy.
And I said it to Bosco because, like, don't get confused with the silence.
Nah, don't
This
listen
whole
to
thing
him,
will be
bro.
topsy-turvy in a second.
I swear
You
to
know
God.
what I'm
He said,
saying?
yo, Nate, he's the cool one. But this nigga right here, we go. I was like, yo. Yo, that's one thing I loved about it. And he was nowhere near us. He was always ready. And then once he got the drink, he held the drink. He watched everybody that was sitting next to you. I was like, oh,
it's
one little wrong move. And those are the ones you need, bro. I'm telling you, my brother and Itch will love each other, bro. My brother will not talk to you at all, bro. He'll sit right here, and it's times I go in spots with my brother, and my brother be standing behind me. They don't even know that's my brother, yo. And he be like, yo, I watched everybody that was looking at you, bro. I'll be like, yo, everything good? He'd be like, yo, anything jump off, we doing it right now. Not tomorrow, right now. I'm like, yo, chill. Leave it alone. Nah, Nate, we gotta finish them now, yo.
Bro.
I'm like, yo, chill, bro.
He said,
He said, I wear glasses.
He said, I wear glasses. There was a situation where I went to a strip club with a friend, and my boy was a little too drunk. He got into an argument or something, and a dude backs out a hammer in the back. So we in the car. We get boxed. First of all, they box us in with cars. Trappers. A man so drunk he can't peep. So he beefing with the dude at the door. But his man is behind him in the passenger side in the back. He backs out the hammer. So I'm tapping my man. Chill. I tell the dude on this side. Because I'm busy over here, but I know there's a dude here. So I tell son, yo son, my man had enough. We had a good night. It's so good. I'm I'm trying to neutralize it. So I'm tapping my man, yo, chill. So my man jumps out. He tries to open the door. The dude at the door closes the door. Two pieces him, right? I see son with the hammer. I said, yo, we good. They saw that I was really trying to piece it. My man wilded out because he opened the door. You don't open the door unless something's going to happen. I'm thinking about the hammer. They moved the cars. They had us boxed. We moved the cars. I drove out. So I come back and I tell Itch. Itch was with us at the strip club. I dropped him off. I told Itch, and all Itch said was, I'm glad I'm not there. And that's word to everything I love. I'm glad Itch was not there because it wouldn't have been an escalate. It would have been a de-escalation. Itch would have wilded out. Itch would have defended it to the top. My thing was I didn't want my man to get popped. I think it was his birthday at a strip club getting popped, bro, because you drunk. And he was wrong. He just couldn't see it. But I saw the hammer, so immediately I got to get into mode. Yeah, I didn't like what was happening. Yeah, they two-piece my man, and I won. But we was sitting ducks. They had us boxed in with hammers, bro. It's a no-win situation. But I told Itch the story when I got back to the crib, and he was just, all he said was, my man was like, this is why I clean his glasses. He was like, glad I wasn't there. That's all he said. And in my head, I'm like, I'm so glad we dropped Itch off. Because we dropped Itch off. And then we did wrong. We spun back. My man was a little thirst. We spun back.
No.
We was spun back because I had to drive past the spot. He was like, yo, let's go back in one more time. And I went in with him one more time. I was supposed to drive more. But I'm glad Itch wasn't there. Cause
I went with my brother. Matter of fact, my brother wasn't even there, bro. I got into a little altercation. And my wife called my brother, and my brother like, what? My brother don't even got a license. He eating red lights, bro.
He like, we out there.
So by the time I get downstairs, the dude is like across the street. But what killed the dude was he's like, yo, you know how I do. I bury niggas. I'm like, yo, you sure? I went to him to make sure that, yo, you sure what you just said? Bro, by the time I turned down, like got back downstairs, my brother was there with a couple of other people, and it went left, bro. It went left, bro. It was like, listen, that's why I take my brother. If I take my brother, you don't know that's my brother. Just like your brother.
Yeah, and when you with people that you know gonna move if it gotta move, you're in good company, but the responsibility is like me and Itch. Anyway, when I went to go see Chavi, I took Itch. Like everywhere we go, anywhere I go, if I'm with Itch, we moving. That's why I took him to Baltimore. I know if it gets to where it gotta go, it's gonna go where it gotta go. But me knowing that and knowing he gonna hold me down, I'm gonna hold him down to make sure the environment
is good.
It's good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Same way I would
and
with my brother.
that's the balance, because I know if the environment changes temperature, he moving with the temperature.
Same way with my brother.
So if I'm gonna invite him somewhere, I want to make sure, yo, just as much as he's gonna make sure I'm good.
I make sure he
I'm good.
good.
I'll make
That's
sure
why
he good.
I always keep my brother at bay. My brother don't come with me unless I know that it's problems. And majority of the time, I might handle it, but my brother might think that it's not enough handling.
He be like, ain't enough.
No, my brother is like, listen, my brother's like Itch, bro. They two different. They don't, they cool dudes. They just don't got no time for the fuckery, bro.
Yeah.
And it get for them like this is who I love, and I make sure that we good.
He said, yo, you took me to a gang wedding. I did.
Yeah, that's what he told me.
I took my brother to the illest. The illest. It was like every prison was there, bro. They had a roll call. Yo, it was Comstock in a building. We in the town, bro. It was a roll call. I took Itch to that. Itch was like, yo, I've never in my life experienced that. Yo, my man had like 15 best men.
That's
All of us was up north with him.
See?
All of us, everybody who was up north with him, who held him down, he said, see, word, we was the best man. I took Itch to that, son. I took Itch to that. Word up. We had to Itch to that. Yo, Booker O, shout out to Booker O. Booker O was there too. Shout out to Booker Orlando. He was there too. He was there.
That's one place I just, like, I know I'm good. I'm good. That's why, and you know what? Nobody know my brother. Nobody know that's my brother, yo. Nobody, bro. You really gotta know me to know that's my brother. And when he go outside, that's one thing I tell him, like, yo, just chill and we good. We good. Like you do with Itch. Itch, they probably wouldn't even think Itch your brother. They didn't even know Itch was with us half the time.
Itch. Shout out to Itch, man. Itch 718. Shout out to Itch, man.
Bosco knew though. Cause Bosco asked for 100 times where he was. Yo, where Itch at, yo?
Itch at?
I said, yo, boss, leave him alone, yo. Where he at, though? You on the other side.
He walking.
Yeah, he walking. He was gone already,
He
yo.
doing perimeter work.
Yeah, he was circling the block.
He checked in the perimeter.
Yeah, he was wilding, yo. Like, he was in the yard.
Oh, man. I want to send a shout out to y'all. We rocked out today. We changed speeds.
Thank God. You know what? Let me rephrase
Thank God.
myself.
Thank God,
myself.
My man said, thank God. Yes, thank God.
Oh, my God. Look at, oh, my God.
We changed speeds. We came around, man. But I want to thank everybody for rocking with us, man. Again, if this is your first time on Dungeon Talk, we be coming on here every Sunday, just shouting it out, having living room conversation, and we invite you on. So shout out to everybody who partaked, even when the conversation was uncomfortable. Salute to y'all. She said, thanking the big homie for this Sunday service. Yeah, shout out to the big homie.
Big homie.
The big homie on now. Yo, man.
Yeah, no more God. Thank the big homie. That's a good word, right?
The big homie, son. That's the big homie, son.
Every time they ask me, I'm like, yo, you spoke to the big homie?
Gotta speak to the big homie, son.
It's a good word.
Because he sanctions it all.
That's a good word.
He sanctions it all, bro.
That is a great word,
He sanctions it all, man. But we rocked out, man. Thank you again, everybody on TikTok, everybody on Instagram. Much love, man. Building your faith. Keep growing in your faith. And don't be scared to have those conversations, in what you believe and what you might not understand. Because it might be that very thing that helps you grow. And that's all we do. We like building.
Yeah.
We like chopping it up, man. And we love the conversation. There's enough noise and mess out there, man.
World, man.
We just have genuine conversation of some things that we know, some things we don't know.
Keep you in tune, man. We just like to have a good convo, man.
Straight
Sometimes
up.
people need it, man.
Yeah.
And if you have a question or anything, chime in, man.
We love
we like that, man.
We like that, yeah.
Especially Spud. Matter of fact, we ain't gonna talk about that. He did enough of that today. He did a great job.
Amen.
Amen. Spud did an amen today.
Amen.
Let's look, and I'm gonna cross him out. Look, he did good today, Spud, man.
Oh man, I'm Spud Brooklyn.
I'm Nate,
and this is Dungeon Talk, man. I see y'all. We see y'all next week. Y'all have a good one, man. Be blessed, y'all. Be blessed. Oh man.
This is my sister.